So, let's talk about something that's, well, it's incredibly personal and just so powerful. We're going to dig into the lasting echo of a parent's words. You know, how these little phrases, sometimes said without even a second thought, can go on to quietly shape a child's entire world.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? It's a tough question to think about for sure, but understanding this is the first step. Because we're not just talking about words here. For a child, these remarks can become their reality, a reality that echoes for years and years, way into their adult life.
All right, so let's dive right in and look at the specific kinds of words that leave these invisible scars. You'll see that it's often the subtle, everyday stuff that quietly chips away at a child's confidence and their sense of who they are.
And this is such a key point. We aren't talking about huge, dramatic moments of betrayal. The real, lasting damage so often comes from the small, repeated comments. Think about it like drops of water, you know? One drop does nothing, but over time, they can wear away solid stone. It's that cumulative effect that's so powerful.
So the first category we're going to look at are phrases that attack a child's very identity. I mean, these go right to the core, making a kid question the fundamental essence of who they are.
Wow. Let's just let that one hang in the air for a second. Why do you act so weird? Now, on the surface, it might sound like a question, but let's be honest, it's a judgment, plain and simple.
And this is the devastating part, right? This is the translation that happens inside a child's mind. They don't just hear a question about their behavior. No, they hear that their authentic self, their quirks, their unique interests, their entire way of seeing the world is just wrong, unacceptable.
And it doesn't stop with personality. Here's another kind of direct attack, but this time it's on their physical self. This could be, a casual remark about their weight, their hair, maybe acne, anything really, that they have little or no control over. What this really does is teach a child that their own body is something to be constantly watched and criticized. It can plant these deep seeds of insecurity and body image issues that can truly last a lifetime. It's like installing a relentless internal critic they can never escape. Now, this kind of damage gets even worse when parents start making comparisons. It sets up this totally unwinnable race that pits a child against the very people they should feel the closest to. You've probably heard this before, right? Why can't you be more like your brother? Or, your cousin gets perfect grades, what's your problem? It's a really common tactic, but it is so damaging. It turns family, which should be a source of support, into a competition. And that's where the core damage happens. The child starts to believe that their value isn't just a given, it's conditional. It's something that has to be earned by constantly measuring up to someone else's achievements or looks. And that just creates this constant, nagging feeling of not being good enough.
Okay, so we've looked at the phrases themselves, the causes. But what about the effects? I mean, how do these words actually echo through the years and pop up in adulthood?
And this is something we really need to understand. These aren't just bad memories that fade away. The child who is constantly told they were a burden doesn't just forget it. They often grow into an adult who apologizes for everything, who feels like they have to earn their place in every single room. Those words literally become the blueprint for their inner world. So the source material really boils it down to these three profound, lasting scars. First, there's that constant feeling of just being in the way, of being a burden. Second, you have a fractured sense of self, because you were taught that who you naturally are is wrong. And third, there's this deep fear that if you're not perfect, if you don't perform, you'll be abandoned. So what's the alternative? How do we fix this? Well, the path forward is all about making a clear shift in how we communicate. Instead of talking about appearance, we could focus on qualities that matter, like kindness or effort. Instead of comparing siblings, we can celebrate each kid's unique strengths. And instead of asking, "Why are you so weird?" how about we celebrate their individuality? It's really about moving from judgment to validation. We've seen the harm that words can do, but we've also seen the healthier paths we can take. And all of this brings us to one final, and I think really crucial question. At the end of the day, this is what it all comes down to. Every single word we say to a child has the potential to become a part of their inner voice for the rest of their lives. So the question isn't just about avoiding harm, it's about what kind of foundation we want to help build. Will our words create an echo of criticism and doubt, or will they leave behind an echo of love, acceptance, and strength?